it's a very nuanced story in which to tell and which to dive into. And so what we always like to say is that we're really trying to re-pioneer the Great Plains and be examples and inspirations for other people that aren't listening to conventional wisdom, because conventional wisdom is oftentimes so wrong. My name is Caleb Pollard, and you're sitting in the tap room of Scratchtown Brewing Company, located in northern Nebraska, which is at the very southeastern tip of the Nebraska Sandhills. Really, in 2009, it really started to formulate itself when one of my business partners and I started spending some time together, road tripping just through the county on Sunday morning coffee trips, as we called them. We'd get together about 7:38 every Sunday morning, and we would just travel the back roads and drink coffee and talk about our hopes and dreams and where we wanted to go with our careers and where we wanted to grow ourselves and ways in which we could contribute to our community that we called home, which was Ord. And it really ignited pretty significantly in 2011 when I met my third business partner, Mike, and he's our head brewer, and was really kind of the catalyst for this all to happen, because he was technically, we felt, the person that we could entrust to be the technician in brewing the beer while the remainder of us built the company around him. We were the first brewery in the Sandhills to open since Prohibition, and initially we knew that what we had to do was to educate our local consumer base, because we were a taproom focused brewery. So the first thing that we probably did, that a lot of people thought we were crazy, was opening a taproom centric brewery that did not have food offerings, which we'll get to that in a second, but we wanted to start literally from scratch and educate people about what craft beer is, what craft beer can be, and how it's really an essential component. Beer is an essential component, I think, to the social fabric in America. And beer is, I think, fundamentally a part of the human experience. And so we had a tall order to really kind of to tackle, and we really tried to be very approachable and education-minded when it came to beer, because a lot of people think that the last 60 years of beer in American history is really the only story of beer, and we all know that now that that's not necessarily the case. So we really felt ourselves as educators. But the other thing that we've now seen since we've opened that's been really fun is that we were at a leading edge, we felt, in beer out here, being the first ones to open, but we also instigated, I think, inspiration for other communities to grow their brewing opportunities. Now you have 5 Sandhills breweries, with I think 2 more in planning or set to be coming online, and really instigated this new tourism movement that's really starting to happen out here in the Sandhills. And I'm very sincere when I say this. It's nearly every weekend, if not every weekend, from basically March 1 to October 1, where we have people from all over the Midwest, whether that be Kansas City, Denver, Lincoln, Omaha, or the Tri-Cities of Nebraska, traveling up here not just to see us here at Scratchtown, but to see our friends over at Kincaidor, our friends up at Bolo and Valentine, or Brush Creek up in Atkinson. And that's been really a rewarding aspect of what we've done that was very unintentional. And then what else did we use? Triticale in that too? Triticale or Triticale, depends on your pronunciation of it, is I believe it's a wheat rye hybrid, right, Mike?
Yes.
My wife and I made a decision to move here about 10 years ago because we wanted to get out of the city, get away from the rat race, and be a little more intentional with how we lived our lives. And we wanted to raise our children in a small town. And all those things happened in far greater interest and far greater excitement and far greater, I think, a far greater reward for a more intentional lifestyle, doing the things that we loved here as opposed to getting kind of lost in the shuffle, lost in the numbers in the city. Not to say those opportunities don't exist there, but really in rural Nebraska, you can invent yourself and you can really create things with such a lower cost to entry. It's a lot more difficult to do, but a lower cost to entry to be able to do some of those things. And we're kind of the type of people that like to do our own thing and create our own story, and this afforded us the opportunity to do that. So it's really fun to Be different and think for yourself with regard to what hard data says and then what your gut and what your anecdotal observations also say. I mean, that's the one thing that I think people don't understand sometimes when getting out here, is that the feel and the look and the optics and the actual experience is much different than what 90 years of census data can tell you about rural America. It's because it's its first cousin of marijuana, and it's a dioecious species, meaning there's a male plant and a female plant, like cedar trees or marijuana or hops. And so the dioecious species means that we segregate the females away from the males, and then that's how we get the unfertilized female. And I enjoy gardening. That's one thing that my wife and I have an extensive garden here as well, and hope to be adding an orchard to that as well, because we enjoy harvesting the fruits of our labor. And again, here, even in an acre plot, you can do quite a bit with that. And so those things are important to us. The other thing that we find outdoorsy that we really enjoy that people forget is above us all the time because of light pollution is going out and just looking at the stars. I mean, I think people forget the immensity of the universe that literally hangs above our head, and the experiences you can have just watching the stars with your children. I mean, I think they are truly amazed. Children are amazed when they consider what's out there and how beautiful the night skies are out here that most people don't even get to see anymore because they're in cities. When it comes to paying taxes that literally you build roads with, or libraries with, or schools with, you have to have wealth creation from companies. And that's why I think you've seen such struggle with this property tax relief conversation in the state of Nebraska right now, is because a lot of these communities don't have that. And the only taxable value that you have in a lot of these places is ag land, and those property taxes rose as farm incomes rose. Well, now farm incomes are taking a nosedive in a very significant manner. It's almost halved, I believe, since 2012. So in 5 years, we've lost half of the wealth out here because of ag taking a nosedive, which it does in cycles. It's boom and bust. Like I said, I have a very long memory of what that's like going through 2 farm sales as a kid on the farm. So we have to look at ways in which to enrich profitability on farm, and we also have to look at ways in which to enrich non-farm opportunity in these rural communities. And breweries obviously are a value-added ag manufacturer, but there's so much more than just that. And we have to continue to stay focused on that. In my opinion, has always been that if you're going to do it in a place like Ord, that is at the terminal end of a railroad, 75 miles from the interstate, served only by 2-lane state highways, you have to self-invest. And Ord that's why I came to Ord, is because they already had that mantra, that attitude in place, and I just was lucky enough to be given the reins to kind of lead that as economic development director. It's not just a story that I can tell, it's a story that a lot of other families can tell.